In this video, we're going to talk about how to become driven. And my guest is going to be Laura, and she's going to share some insider view as well that can also help you become driven. Because being driven is a skill set that we all should have because it will really help us in our lives tremendously. When it comes to being driven, there's just so many things that we can do to help us, you know what I mean? And if people do not get taught that basic fundamental as a child, it can really affect them being successful in life. In your life, what are some things that helped you become driven?
Yeah, I think I've always been a type A personality, and I've had some component of being driven. Earlier in my life, I was always driven in my career. That was the stable for me. That was where my drive and all my energy got put into. And then in midlife, I decided to shift that drive to myself. I had almost forgotten about myself because I was so focused on my drive in my career. And so I shifted and started to focus on being driven and being motivated internally to achieve my goals as it relates to, my health, my physique, my overall wellness. And it's definitely a shift. And I think that, even today, I have different facets of my life where being driven comes to life in those different facets. And I would say for me now, the physical and the well-being aspect is very strong. I'm very driven to achieve success there. But also in my career, I've almost had a rebirth, if you will, in terms of my renewed focus on my career. And in life, being driven to really live life to the fullest and do things that make me happy.
One thing I like you mentioned was that you have internal motivation, because I see a lot of people, they try and look for things in the outside world to keep them motivated, but long term it just never works, you know what I mean? So you really have to take the time to sit down and figure out what are some things that actually matter to me, like goals. Goals can really help you become driven once you set them, because subconsciously your mind's going to be thinking about it, and there's a direction that you're heading in. Yeah,
very true. I think that if I see people all the time that are looking for external motivation, and you're right, ultimately you fail because that external factor it has a limited shelf life. I think that when you establish goals for yourself, it then informs all the decisions that you make in life. So everything I do is very purposefully driven. So my nutrition is designed for my physical goals. My personal management of my wealth is driven so I can live the life that I want to live. So when you set those goals, it's very easy to then back up and make sure that the actions match the goals. A lot of times you see people that have goals, but their actions aren't aligned with those goals.
Or sometimes they'll not be clear on their goals, you know what I mean? So they do not really ever get anywhere. Although it's tough, like being clear on your goals, because once you're clear, you'll know when you fail or not, you know what I mean? But that failure is also very important. One thing that can really help people stay committed to the goals is having some sort of a mentor per se, because if you're checking in with someone constantly, it's much harder for you to fail because there's that pressure there.
Yeah, very true. So when I made the decision to transform my life in terms of my well-being, my physical, my health, from that point on, I've always had some type of accountability partner. So an accountability partner in terms of a nutrition coach. I'm very well versed in nutrition, but even coaches need coaches. And being able to have someone that's holding me accountable was an absolute game changer. Because it's really hard when you first get started towards your goals. If you're not seeing some initial results, that motivation can fall to the wayside. But having an accountability partner pulls you through in those times when you don't necessarily have those results that you can hang on to.
That's very true.
Results take time.
And they can also show you like your areas of improvement as well, because sometimes we're very much blind to the progress that we've made. And if there's a mentor there along the way, they can share a lot of guidance.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. And actually in my own life, I've really tried to mentor other women to share the successes that I've had and how I've achieved it, because to your point, a lot of times people just don't know where to start. And I think being able to, give guidance and provide a roadmap, ultimately it's their journey. But being able to provide that roadmap, I think, is good for them, but it's great to be a mentor and to be able to help others.
I agree. And there's also one thing that can kind of prevent us from being driven, and it's the people that we surround ourselves with. It's very crucial to take the time to just scan like your friend groups, and if there's people, like if most of them are very much lazy, it's going to be hard for you to become driven because they're going to constantly pull you in their direction.
Very true. I would say that I agree with you completely, and I think once you set goals and you start your behaviors align with those goals, there is a risk in that your circle changes. And I think that it's hard, right? Because you don't want to alienate others, but if they don't align with your personal goals and their behaviors don't align with how you like to live your life, that circle does evolve. And you have to be comfortable with that. But I'll tell you, it's really powerful to have your circle contain people that are like-minded. There's nothing better.
Very true, because it really keeps the ball rolling, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I find it's hard for me to get negative at all, because most of my friends, they're positive, they're all driven, so it just really pushes me to keep going.
Yeah, I think a big part of all of this too is the community, that you put yourself in. So for example, the gym is really a big part of my life, and it puts me in a situation where I'm with like-minded people and they inspire me and they challenge me to think about things that I could be doing differently. So it's not just your circle of friends, but rather your whole tribe or community is really important.
Very true, like the environmental factor. Yeah, wow, I agree 100%. What are some other things that kind of prevent people from being driven?
I think I hear of people not really pushing themselves outside their comfort zone. And I really believe that you have to get uncomfortable to have growth. And getting uncomfortable is scary. Pushing yourself and the unknown. It's just an uncomfortable feeling, but I feel like that's where the greatest growth happens.
Very true, because as you try those new things, and if you're successful, that's going to continue to push you forward as well, because your mind kind of has that memory that you succeeded here, so it tries to keep pushing you along. But like you said, like if you're just kind of sitting there not trying new things, there's really nothing your mind have to base off anything.
Right.
So I think you might be very negative too. And that's one thing that prevents people from being driven is their mindset. When I look at successful people, I've noticed that like their mindset very positive, they're very optimistic about things. And if you do not have a mindset that's helping you per se, I don't really see how you can become a driven person.
Right, yeah, I think that you have to be open to new things. You have to be open to pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. And I think that if you do those things, and also to take the approach that you'll always find a way. I think that's the other thing. So, there are times in our life where it's not easy. So take COVID, for example, right? A very difficult time initially to figure out, well, how am I going to work out? The gym's closed, or, am I going to maintain my diet because I'm sitting in the house all day? And I think that it's really important that thinking creatively and, instead of thinking about the negatives of COVID, think about the fact, this is a great opportunity to be cooking healthier meals, to be managing my nutrition better because I have more time, I'm home more. Or, let's get creative with workouts. You don't have to go to the gym to have a workout. You can do different things, but you have to flip the switch and look at it from a positive perspective.
Yeah. See, and if someone was in that pessimistic mindset, there's no way these ideas would be coming to them to begin with.
Right. I completely agree. Completely agree.
That's great. Well, I think we shared a lot of great things about how to become driven that people could utilize. And I appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thank you. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, anytime. I hope you guys enjoyed the video because we talked about a lot of great things that can help you become driven in your life. I create a lot of videos along these lines. A few of them will pop up right here. You should definitely check them out as well. And in the meantime, I'll catch you guys in the next video.